Guys, have you ever gotten funded? You got a payout and you blew the account. Then you get funded again, you pass the challenges. Maybe you get two payouts and you blow the account. Then you get funded, you blow the account without even a payout. And you keep living in the cycle month after month, year after year. And you're like, what is really going on? Why can't I stay funded forever? You know? And in this video, I'm going to deal directly with that because in the past years, I've actually been dealing with that, right? So let's get into it. Now, the first thing is strategy, right? I'm not going to talk to you about scalping. Scalping is its own kind of thing. It's very high intensity. You're entering multiple trades a day. My system is you entering on the 15 minutes, you may be holding for an hour or two, and then you're done, right? Maybe you enter two setups like that, you're holding another trade. So the first thing is the strategy. Does the strategy mean that you take 3+ setups? Now I'm talking about myself. You could have a bigger threshold mentally, but 3+ trades, right? It takes a lot. Your strategy is forcing you, based on your backtesting results. Maybe you even didn't even backtest. Maybe you don't even know what you're doing. But anyways, 3+ trades. This for me is a big no, right? Because when you start the day, right, and this is when you start the day, assuming that you had a good 8 hours of sleep. So let's just say this is, let's take this container full of water, right? This is your 8 hours of sleep, right? 8 hours of sleep. So all of these things are going to be building you, right? So this is your 8 hours of sleep. This here, you're not in like a diet or calorie deficit, so you're eating max, right? And then this is you're not in like any breakups and stuff in your relationships and all those kind of things, right? So you happy here, right? You content. There's nothing affecting you emotionally, maybe in your job or something like that, maybe in other areas. You're happy. You're eating max, you have 8 hours sleep. Nice. Now what I call this is the reservoir, right? This is the reservoir. Now if you add up all of these, right, you go 1, 2, 3, your max, right? This is your mental capacity, right? Let's call it MC, mental capacity. Now the moment, every time you execute, so when you remember, when you take a trade, guys, when you take a trade, you are not just taking a trade, you are making a decision on when to enter, how to enter, put the stop loss, all those things. Then you are holding the trade, which takes mental energy, and then you have to wait for TP to hit, and then which resolves the kind of like the build up, right? So basically in a graph pattern, this is your trade, right? I'm gonna say on the x-axis is your stress over time, right? So this is the moment you're looking at the setup, your stress is building now, right? The excitement and whatever is building. This here is basically your focus, right? You need to focus on when to enter. Still, it's using up mental capacity. Then you see your setup, and then you finally do your execution. Your stress is building now because you're waiting for a price. Maybe you put a pending, or maybe you did market execution. Stress is building, right? And this is over time, right? And then finally, you're holding the trade. Now that when you're holding the trade, is actually a little bit more stressful now, right? You're holding the trade, you keep checking the charts. You're like, okay. And then finally, you hit TP, right? And then the stress kind of drops, but it doesn't drop completely, right? Because whatever decision you made in the day, it took your mental capacity, right? Let me just put the camera right. So this is now you knew where you are, right? That's your first trade. Then the second trade would be the same thing. You're looking for the setup, right? Maybe you missed it now. You missed the setup. The market didn't give you your entry, so now you're here. Now this is your baseline, right? Then now this at this point here is your, when your stress reaches a certain point, your basically your stress, your animal side of your brain takes over, right? I'm not going super deep into psychology here, but this is what's happening, right? Right, doesn't you miss the trade? Now you finally see another setup, your stress increases, right? And you're like finally holding the trade, and you're like, okay, finally I'm holding the trade, and hits TP. And then when it hits TP, your stress drops that much, right? Right, that's what's happening. And then now comes a point where if this is the end of your day, you can't go to, if you go to bed, maybe your stress drops that much, right? Without doing any kind of like exercise, basically refreshing your brain, going to the saunas and stuff like that. Maybe you do that much. If this is all you do is just sleep, right? And then the next day, when you take the second two setups, all of a sudden you start increasing that threshold, right? But let's not go too deep on the threshold right now. Right, this is stress and time, right? Now, if this is your stress and this is your time, let's just say now you just realize, wait a minute, I have a good routine. Maybe I go to the sauna and then I go to the gym after that and I meditate and then I go socialize with friends. Maybe not drink alcohol and all those things because all of that is bad, right? You do all the saunas, you do meditation, and now you're able to drop your stress level back to the beginning. So when you start the new day, it's the same thing. This is your first trade, your second trade, boom, you reset for the day. This becomes a consistency. This becomes consistency on this graph. This is how you become consistent, right? You always drop your stress, you start the new day fresh. Right? Now the problem comes in when the person doesn't realize that his mental capacity is finite. Right? He thinks that, okay, my body can get tired, but my mind can't. Right? I have infinite energy mentally I have infinite energy. So now he keeps taking the next trade. He goes past his thing. Now at this point here, this is when now the emotions, the nervous system can't take it anymore, right? And now the executions this execution leaks. He enters, maybe his entry is at a 50% fib. Now he's entering slightly earlier with a 30% fib, and he's increasing leverage time. His execution starts leaking, right? Instead of entering 10 lots, he's entering 20 lots, and he's just hoping now, right? And now he gets more stressed because the market reverses, and he's like, oh, now the stress accumulates. Now he starts making more mistakes. Now he's like, yeah, I don't really give a damn, right? At this point here, this is super important, guys. You can look at me. At this point here, his logical brain shuts off, right? And he's like, oh God, I just need, please, I just need to win this next trade. I just need to do, I've been in that position, so I know exactly what this feeling. I just need to make this new start. I don't really care what happens. I just need to win today. I just need to win. I just need to cover the trade. Because now he's in this place here. Everything logical is off, right? He allowed himself to get to this point because his rules basically said more than 2 to 3 trades a day. Right? He allowed himself. He keeps allowing himself. He has no reset button. So even for this day, maybe he comes back down, but he's just barely above this threshold. The next day, all of a sudden, now he starts blowing the account. That day, guys, that's the reason why you keep blowing your funded accounts. Okay. The reason is maybe the first day you don't blow it. The first day you rest properly because you manage your stress. You didn't go above the threshold. The second day you had no way to reset, and you decided, okay, no, I'm going to go above the threshold, the stress threshold level, right? And now maybe you don't blow it at that. Maybe you make mistakes. Maybe now instead of your drawdown being, okay, I'm only going to lose minus 1% for the day, I'm done. You end up losing minus 1.5, right? And you're like, okay, I'm done for the day. I didn't do too bad, but now you're stressed. You have no way to regulate yourself. Your stress is already above. The next day, you're carrying that stress into the next day, right? And then you end up making all these decisions. Now you are minus 2%. You're like, oh man, doesn't really matter what I do now. I need to somehow come back. I don't really care because I'm already minus 3. You know, this is not even my rule. So that means I need to cheat and recover back to break even so I can finally trade clean again. Right? I know I've been through all of this. And then finally now you blow the account because now you broke all the rules. You're too emotional. You don't know what to do. You basically logic is gone. So guys, the rules aren't just for trading. The rules is for managing your emotions, managing yourself. So my rules are if I take one loss for the day, I'm done. Because my system also, the algorithms stop printing. Right? If the algorithms are fighting each other, that means I take a loss, I'm done for the day. When I win, I only take one more setup to win because it is twofold. That means the algorithms are in my favor, so I'll take one more trade. If I win, I'm done for the day. 2 wins, happy. If I take more than that, most of the time I end up losing, and it's more cognitive load. That's super important. So too many traders, they forget that the brain and the mind are finite energy sources. Right? But thank you guys for watching. Just remember to always take into consideration it's not just a strategy, it's also your mental capacity. You have to factor in how much your brain can take before you break. Right? Super important. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.